And today, there's a lot of companies adopting work from home and remote work strategies. We'd like to hear from our customers, and we have these great opportunities to have sit down and discuss with Khun Kantima Lerlertyuttitham. She's Chief Human Resources Officer. สวัสดีครับคุณกันติมาครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ Hi everyone.
Thank you very much for your time and sitting with us today, talking about what would AIS has been done for the planning of having work from home and adapting technologies for remote work for all the employees. I believe that today you have about 13,000 employees worldwide. Maybe you could tell us about how do you have the plan in the past and during this situation, especially with the COVID-19, how do you cope with that and how do you adopt the technologies for the people?
Actually, it should be my word. Thanks for giving AIS an opportunity to share. This is such the crisis that everyone never expect that it's going to happen. If you follow the AIS strategy since last 6 years, our CEO, Khun, he already heads up for the digital transformation in an organization, because as a digital service provider, it's very important that people in AIS have those experience. And we did so many programs which is doing the digital transformation. We put the technology in our people life, daily life. For example, like our people not going to the library just for reading the book anymore. The book is go to your device, And the learning system totally changed. In the past, we focused more in the classroom training, those kind of stuff, like the old style, the old school of thought. But now everything is in your device. We believe that, the strategy of anytime, anywhere, any device, that's our focus. So with the technology, the benefit of technology is help us a lot, especially this crisis, because we just go like this and then the next 2 days we can work from home. The major activity that we done, especially last year, is we use Microsoft 365. We put in every device of our staff, and our staff full-time or temp, everyone just already on 365. And then we got sometimes, along that we're doing some kind of like practice and all those, and we observe the situation very closely. We put the 2 key priorities for our organization. The first one is the safety of our employee. We want to make sure that our employees are safe, especially, during the COVID-19. And also the other thing that we cannot let down is our commitment to the customer, especially when the crisis. When the customer needs help, we need to be there anytime that the customer needs. So technology has helped us a lot.
I think with the current situation of COVID-19, could you tell us about how would all of the staff, like 13,000 staff, where are they working right now? And especially the people from call center or who are the service provider that has to be in front of the customers?
Wow, the beauty of the technology is help us a lot. 80% of our staff, they work from home at this moment. The other 20% is the nature of work, which is we require them. Mm-hmm. For example, like people in the admin department or the call center, and also people in some shop that open. So we have around 20 people work in the workplace. What we do is we found that number of the staff in the call center with the technology nowadays, it's very easy for them to access from their home. So we will see the change of the working style in AIS after this crisis. There's some plan that we planned in the past, but because of this crisis, it's made our dream come true so fast. So now our minority people can work at their home. We got the people who have disability, people who blind. All those staff now they can work from home, and we won't expect them to come back to the office anymore. We from after the crisis, all those people will stay their home, so they don't have those challenge in terms of traveling or those anymore. Their life gonna be better, so they can stay and work from their home and still service the customer as we always.
That means you have already prepared for their access to the systems and probably some hardware and the network so that they can work anywhere as they want, right?
I won't say that we are 100% ready when the crisis happened. The crisis also allowed us to find out many more. We found that many loopholes that we need to fix. And I think that we see this as the opportunity. It's no point to see, this is a hard time, this is such a difficulty, those kind of things, because that's not going to help anything. But if you see the benefit and also seeking for the opportunity to adapt yourself, that's the things that AIS people believe. So we found that we can fix many loopholes during the crisis. So as I mentioned, that is just like the rehearse. You won't find the situation that really force you to adjust yourself just like this. And this is not only AIS, this is not only Thailand. We see the ambulance running around, so I hope we are safe. But actually, you wouldn't have the opportunity to get the people change their behavior. And I believe that with 21 days that people keep repeat changing their behavior, it will become the habits. People who never use the e-payment system, people who never use those type of technology, now they learn. So this is the beauty of crisis that happen.
So since the staff and the employees now working remotely with the current situation, and also I believe that AIS is a service provider that becomes the backbone of Thailand business. How do you empower your staffs or upskilling or keeping them in terms of developing themselves during these situations, even though they are working remotely and be in front of the camera?
We found that when we're doing the digital transformation, we found that there are a number of comfort zones need to be break. We always say that if you want to do something and if you want a success in terms of transformation, we have to step out from our comfort zone. So those are things that people in AIS need to bear in mind. In the last 6 years, it's quite tough at the beginning because when we're talking about this, transformation is kind of like a very new thing to Thai society. But you see that things that happen this time around is proof to my people. And it's also support us a lot from now on. If you want to make any change, if you want to throw any challenge to them, they're ready. So during the last 6 years, we're doing a number of things that, when we're talking about change is a very small. Even we always spend times on, learning the change management or those type of things. But when we're talking about the transformation, it's totally bigger than change. So our people being trained, and it's quite difficult at the first time. But when you repeat doing again and again, people have the ability to adapt to change easier, especially this crisis. I found that my people, we're so proud of our people that they adapt themselves quite well. And what they always ask for is how they can achieve that goal, what the support technology that the company can provide them to continue working and serve the customer. So that's the things that we don't hear the complaint that much. We still hear some, but not that much. But they're seeking for the technology that will allow them to working in the new way of work. Yeah.
I think this will be a very good opportunities for the staff to have a new creativities, new innovation, or new way of engaging their customers. As you know, especially when they lock down the retail store, or even they lock down some of the companies, some of the area. Have you seen any creativities from AIS staff? Having a new engagement type?
There are so many things that, I wouldn't believe that I'm going to say in a very short time. Since the lockdown, we see that the channel, the normal channel, like point of sale or those kind of things, which is going to affect on the whole world. I think that, the retail way, the way of retail management, or those will totally change from after this crisis. But what I see is my people, they step up and they're doing some, dramatically, unbelievable. They start doing the e-learning by themselves. They're also doing the podcast. They're also doing the live, to serve the customer without the company guideline. That's what I'm going to say. We don't force them, but they just try the way and use the technology in their hands that doing those such of things. We found that it's not only AIS people. I think that Thai people cope with the things quite well. And I think this is the opportunity for our Thai to adapt ourselves to those digital world.
I think that's very good opportunities, and even with the open mindset for the company to allow the staff to have their own way of having a new engagement to their customers in order to keep relationship, keeping servicing their customers. What would be the so-called advice or any tips that you would give to the company in Thailand or even in this region during this situation, or even the company that is planning for a new way of work?
I think that whether the crisis happen or not, the things that you cannot forget is continue to equip yourself all the time. Because things change faster, and also with the speed of change that happen now today. So the only things that gonna get you to gone through all this crisis is ability to adapt to change. And to have those ability, you need to equip yourself all the time. And people always focus on talking about new norm. And believe me, things that we are facing now is not a totally 100% new norm, but it's the start point to create a new norm. For example, like when you go out, you don't want to touch anything now today. You always carry those, alcohol gel or those, and you wash your hand. My finger, I cannot do finger scan anymore because it's kill up all my. But this will create the new environment that how can we open the doors untouched. So those is the things that's gonna come. So what I would remind everyone that things that we face now today is not 100% new norm. Even the way we're talking about work from home, the real work from home won't be the same as we understand now today. Things that we say we work from home nowadays is because it's the BCP. You've been limited with the lockdown. You have a challenge in terms of community, But in reality, it's not. People won't stay 5 days a week work from home. Some might say they come to the office 3 days and work from home for 2 days. It depends on the nature of work. So if you allow me to say something to the people is don't finish and understand that this is the new norm. No, we're not there yet, and the new norm will continue. It won't stop. So continuous equip yourself is the things that I would say.
All right. So before we are moving to the next session, I think last thing that we like to hear from you is that how do you keeping engaging the staff, the employee, 13,000 people are working remotely everywhere. They are everywhere. How do you keep connecting them, or what would be the tips and tricks keeping the staff engagement?
Leaders are very important. That's what I'm going to say. People who sit in the leader roles, people who sit in the management role, you need to step out from your comfort zone first. When you sit in the office with the environment of everyone around, you can work on one way. But now things change and won't come back to the old day that you used to. So the leader need to change, especially this crisis. You have to be coach. You have to be the strategic people who lead the business opportunity, and you have to be cheerleader as well sometimes. Organization cannot stop, and leader cannot stop as well. I use the sample like AISP leaders. We just, if you see that we came out and we sing a song, which is not our special. We are not those specialists. But we just want to show. It's not about showing the activities that we did, but it's show that here we are the role model of step out from our comfort zone. So those is the things that leader need to start. Open your mind, doing something different, accept the people as the way they are, and respect to diversity. So that's what I'm going to say.
Okay, I'm very glad and very honored to have this opportunity to sit down and talk with you about the strategy, the thinking process, and how do you keeping the staff engagement during this situation where everybody has to be so-called social distancing. So thank you very much, Khun Kantima Lerlertyuttitham, Chief Human Resources Officer. ขอบคุณมากครับ สวัสดีครับ
Thank you ค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะ